Good morning. I hope you are ready to make some tote bags today. What we decided we would do today is we're going to give you a free pattern that is down below. You can click on a link, but bags are a good thing to have around, especially here in New York when you can't go anyplace without taking your own bag. But just a good generic bag is a good thing, and you don't need a pattern for this. You really don't need a pattern. So I'm going to give you just some generals, and then we're going to show you a couple of different things that you can add on to them.
Can I interrupt for 1 minute?
Absolutely not.
For those of you who are waiting for the thread delivery, sorry.
I'm sure it's all about you, Teri.
It is all about me today. The thread just came in not 5 minutes ago. So I will be mailing out, God willing, all of the thread that I owe you all. So
hopefully it'll be mailed by the time you see this.
Yeah, hang tight. We're going to do our best, but thank you for being patient. Back to the tote bags.
Back to the tote bags. So usually you want to find an outside and an inside. I like lined bags just because I think if you're going to be hauling stuff around it, you don't want just a single layer or else it's going to die on you. So I've got these two fabrics, and what I like doing is because you want to make sure your outside and your lining are exactly the same size. So I'll lay them on top of each other. Whoops, short ruler. And then trim them so that they are the same size. So we're just going to give this a quick trim. Not going to take a whole lot. And the thing is, if you're doing this kind of a tote bag, it doesn't have to be a specific size. You know, it doesn't have to be 18.5 inches. It can be whatever you want it to be. There's no rules, you can't break them, is my motto.
Go big or go home.
Exactly. So now that these are the same size, and we want to trim along the top too, making sure we don't get any selvages.
Don't you dare go across the top of your hand like that.
I wasn't going to, and no, my hand was not going to be in the way. My hand was not going to be in the way, Mom.
We yell at people for that.
Yeah, obviously. Okay. So now we have everything trimmed. So basically what you're going to do at this point, you're going to flip each one of these right side in, stitch down both sides of the outside. Do the same thing for the lining, except you're going to leave a hole on one side. So you're going to, come on, work with me, fabric. Stitch down the side, leave an opening. 3-4 inches is all you need, back stitch on both sides. So now you basically have the bags looking like a bag. Now, here's where you have a few options. Do you want a pocket on your bag? So
to put your keys.
Well, see, I like putting my keys in.
Or your phone.
Mm-hmm. So if you want a pocket, just figure out roughly how big you want it. You're going to cut 2 squares of that. Right sides them together, stitch all the way around. Again, leave an opening on it. Trim the corners, and then flip it right side out. And then the last thing that I like doing is, this is where my opening was. On the opposite side, just run a couple of rows of stitching. That's going to be the top of the pocket, so you want that to be nice and strong. So now you're ready to attach your pocket to the lining or the outside, whichever way you want to do it. Now, because this is just a single layer of fabric, I do throw a square of stabilizer, just because when you stitch that, and then it's not going to pull away from it any easier. So you're going to flip this right side out, and then go back to where you measured, and just top stitch the pocket on. Okay?
And you could have done this before you did the sides, right? Not really.
Well, it's easier because then you know where middle is.
Okay.
I mean, yes, the middle should be the same. So once you have your pockets on it, what you want to do is box the bottoms. So
professional talk.
Professional. So what you're going to do is you have your bottom fold and you have your side seam. You're going to lay one on top of the other. And then you're just going to basically pick a measurement. Picture this was coming out square. I forgot to do that. Anyways, the longer you make the thing, the fatter your bag is going to be, if that makes sense to you. If you do a short box, then you're going to have a narrower bag. Fatter box, you get a wider bag. So and again, this goes back to, there's no rules, guys.
So fat equals wide, skinny equals skinny.
Yes.
Okay.
I had to stop and think about that for a minute. I thought you were going to say fat was good in there someplace. So.
Well, I don't bitch.
So you want to make a mark, stitch on it, and then trim it to 1/4 inch. So you're going to box the inside bag and the outside bag.
Hopefully to the same measurement.
Yeah, do measure the same. And then what you're going to do is you're going to put right sides together. So turn one of them right side out and tuck it inside the other guy. Line up your side seams. Talk amongst yourselves.
Chit, 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 chit.
Yep. And then you're going to stitch all the way around the top. Okay? Once you, and this is why I like doing them this way. Then when you're done, the opening that you had in the side, you're going to turn everything out through there, tuck it back in, and then the body of your bag will be done.
Do you have one in that stage?
No.
Okay, let's everybody hold still for just 1 second. We're
you
going
want me
to
go do it.
How can I pause this?
Just stop. And we're back. So I have added the pockets onto the lining on both sides. I do like me some pockets. And then what I did is I turned it right side out, and then the opening in which I turned it right side out, I just did a real narrow top stitch to and close that up.
And you put the pockets on before you sewed the two pieces together.
Correct. So now all you got to do is put one inside the other. This is always fun. What is it? We always had the birthing of the purse first. Do you remember
Gag.
that?
No, it was the quilt. It was the big quilts when
Oh, I thought Linda
no.
McGehee, that was the birthing the purses.
Oh, I thought it was when
That was crude, but
it
oh
was when Eleanor Burns birthed her
Oh, was it
quilts.
her?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
a
we
few
won't
days
do
ago.
that. Yeah, thing. Okay, so this is where you're at with the bag at this point. So I would give the top edge a really nice press, and then get your decorative stitches out. Run you can either do a couple of rows around of a top stitch or run a decorative stitch with a contrasting thread around the top. That just kind of makes it nice and tailored, so it's not looking so rumply as it is now. Now just one other FYI, if you decide you want to use a border stripe like this guy, the one problem with that, and it's really just a very, 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 very small problem, if you think about border stripes, when they come off the bolt, they're all going to be going in the same direction. So if you left it like that, you would have flowers, 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 flowers.
Yeah, they'd be going up, and the birds would be
and the birds
swimming
would be
upside down.
flying upside down. So all you have to do with that is find a middle point, cut it in there, and then just put a seam in the bottom. The one thing the one caveat is you have to make sure that they're even. Sorry, this is our mom thing.
We say that way too often.
You do have to. Well, she gave us good
Yes.
things to live by. You do have to make sure your stripes match on the side. So ish.
Yes.
Okay. So that's for border stripes, which border stripes to me make absolutely fabulous bags. So now we're on to straps, and we'll just do those real quick. So what you want to do with these is, this is the way that I like doing them. I like using, it's under here someplace, a nylon webbing. This is strapping. So this is a 1 inch. We have both the white and the black on the website, so you can purchase. It's only $1 a yard. Really, really inexpensive. But this is 1 inch wide, and this is why it doesn't matter what color you use, because you're going to cover them. That way you can customize your handles to any bag that you have. So to figure out what size strip you need for that, if you think about your strapping, you've got this side and this side that you need to cover. That's 2 inches.
2 inches.
Thank you for doing the math, Mr. Burgess. And then you figure seam allowance. That's another quarter, so another half. So now you're up to 2.5. I like adding just another 1/4 inch just for that little fudge factor. So I usually, for 1 inch strapping, cut my strips 2 3/4. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go to the iron and press up 1/4 inch on one side. Then go to your sewing machine, and I like putting the folded edge on the left, but that's just me. And what you're going to do is lay your strip on, and I like leaving the strip down like a 1/2 inch or so, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. And then what you're going to do is you're going to fold over the raw edge, fold over the folded edge, and kind of work this so that you've got it so that it's running kind of down the side of the strip. So you just got to wiggle it around a little bit. And so you can see that the folded edge, and then you're just going to top stitch that.
Do you have to line your stripes up, Marty?
You don't have to, but Mom would say you would.
Okay.
You ask such silly questions sometimes.
I just had to get it out there.
So you're just going to stitch all the way down, and then I turn around and come back up so that you have a balanced stitch, like on this guy. So that you're basically just having 2 rows of stitching on this. That, to me, it's the strongest handle that you're going to have because the strapping is not going to stretch. So these handles that basically just do this with batting, I don't like those. Because especially if you're putting heavy stuff in your bag, not to mention they shrink, and if you wash your bags,
And they squish up too.
they're kind of pooey.
They wad up.
Yes, so this is my preferred way of doing this. And that way, as I said, you can customize your straps to any bag that you do. So once you have your strap made, this is what you've got. And I even on this one, I went and dug out my dusty old decorative stitch on the machine and used a contrasting thread so that, you know, just kind of dressed it up a little bit. So on your bag, what you want to kind of do, and this is after you do your top stitching, you want to find your middle and then do a distance on both sides on where you're going to put your thing. Now remember I had said that I like leaving a little bit without strapping. That's because what you're going to do is fold that edge under, and you're just going to top stitch your strap onto your bag. And if you leave that without the strapping on the end, it's not so bulky. You still got a finished edge on it, but it's not so bulky so that you can do this. So you can see, like on this guy, how I like stitching them on. So you're going to do the square and then an X through it. That is a strong, strong handle. A lot of times when you see bag patterns, they'll like insert them into the seam. Those are not real strong. This is a strong handle. It's not going to go any place on you.
And it's going through all the layers.
And it's going through all of the layers, so it's going to hold nice and firm. So that's how I put handles on just a basic bag. Now, one little caveat that you can have on this, if you decide you want to do a monster bag, and this could be like for the beach or, you know, if you're traveling kind of a thing, I took a piece of fabric and I added batting to it because when you get to a bag this size, sorry, I need to sit back down.
Yep.
When you get to batting this size or a bag this size, it needs to have some stability to it because you're obviously going to be carrying big things into it. I did a yoga bag for Teri and it was about this size, and you did.
Oh, I could bring that in,
yeah.
but I won't.
So you just want to do a little bit of quilting. So I just marked a diagonal line. I did a 60-degree thing, and so I have little diamonds on here. You can kind of see my pattern. Very, very easy. It took longer than that will do anything else. So if you're going to do long handles or a big bag like this, okay, where did they go? There they are. You want your long handles. So what I like doing with that is doing a handle that the straps go underneath the bag. So it really is supporting any kind of a weight that you're going to put in there. So to do that, I mean, it's very easy figuring out. Again, I did the same construction before. I cut everything, trimmed everything the same. The lining, the outside of the bag, the batting were all exactly the same size. And then now it's one of those, you want to mark a line where you want your straps to be. So just mark a straight line on both sides. And then to measure how long your straps are going to be, again, you just got to think about it a little bit. How long is this? Times 2, because you got a strap here and a strap here. Because what we're going to do is we're going to do a loop. And then figure out how much of the overlay do you want for your handle. Now on a bag like this, chances are you're not going to haul it up over your shoulder. You're going to want to carry it down at your side. So you don't want long handles for that. So that's why I kind of figured with this. So once I'd have my lines marked, I would basically just start in the bottom of my bag, up, pin this on, kind of loop it around. Oops. This is just real quick. And then back. And remember, I have that flap in there again, so I can fold that over. And I have the flap there. I'm going to leave that one plain, so now I don't have a really bulky mix. So you're going to just stitch down both sides of the strapping, leave it back about a couple of inches so that it's a little bit free-flowing, and then you're going to construct the bag the same exact way you did before.
Ta-da!
If you wanted a pocket on this one, you could put it in between your handles. you would just make the pocket like we did before, just insert it underneath, and all you would have to do is sew the bottom of the pocket. So bags are really quite easy and quite simple. There don't have to be a whole lot of rules on doing them.
Where you can do something fun is the fabric.
Yes. Yeah.
Make your fabric
let
funky.
It speak.
Yes,
yeah, let
there
it
you
speak.
go. There you go.
Before we sign off, I just wanted to say, because I did show you, this is the sailing bag. This is a panel actually from Northcott that we have, that they printed the whole bag on. They call it canvasy type bag, but it's really not. I mean, it's a little heavier than cotton, so it will wear very nicely.
Could you hold the regular bag, the done bag up again?
Sure. But again, on there, and there you can see that there are instructions on the panel. They did not line the bag though. It's a no bueno.
Yeah.
So you can see that you have the bag, you have the straps, and you have a pocket. So I just basically took the same size piece for my lining, lined the bag, did the same thing with the pocket. I just put a piece of fabric onto the back of it like I would, and then constructed it the exact same way. So you really have this this would be a cute, cute beach bag.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Or if you have any yachting friends.
I don't have any yachting friends. I'm a landlubber.
You have a yachting brother.
I am landlocked. So anyways, so that's totes into things. So down below there's a free pattern for you to download if you want. And then there's also a tip sheet. You know, just things that over the years when I've been making bags that really kind of helped me out. So, and we have the webbing, and we'll have the panel on the website for you if that's something that you want. So I think that's it.
I hope. If not, till next week.
Bye.
Bye. Wave.